Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Welcome back if you've come from the last video on this channel, which was the nervous guide. Welcome to the second video of the two on a show, the show being Sweeney Todd at the Birmingham Rep. Welcome to the review. Let's get into it all. Hit the intro. So welcome to another video on Sweeney Todd. Welcome to the second and final video on Sweeney Todd at the Rep. If you're thinking what she talk about, why is it two videos? Let's get into it. Let's do the spiel. For every show that I see, I like to do two separate videos on that show. First one being the nervous guide, which was the last video. The nervous guide is everything that you need to know before you go into the show, hopefully. So that'd be content warnings, sensory warnings, information about the theatre, information about running time and age restrictions, view from my seat, anything that hopefully makes the journey into the show a little bit easier and more relaxing and less stressful. That is the hope and the wish. The second video is this video. This is the review. Review is always put in inverted commas because in no way am I professional. I'm just talking about the things that I enjoyed and maybe didn't enjoy. The likes, the dislikes, the favourites, etc. And sometimes I go and see shows alone, and when I see shows alone I have not got the chance to talk afterwards about it. The joy of seeing theatre with other people is that you can come out and you can share what you enjoyed and reflect on the show itself, and when you go alone you can't do that. So I may start making these videos on them, and that is how the reviews that are not reviews started. A little history lesson for you today. So yes, we are here today to talk all things Sweeney Todd at the Birmingham Rep, a show that I agreed to go and see with friends, having not usually gone for that kind of show. This is very much an out of my safety net kind of show. I am pushing myself a bit more this year to see things that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise, mainly down to me and my anxious side, and not seeing the everything is happy go lucky and everything has a happy ending kind of shows. Because that's where I like to be. I like to be in the positive, happy, glorious state. This is my third Sondheim show that I've ever seen. I recently this year saw Into the Woods at the Bridge, and previously I have also seen Company. Three completely different shows. I mean, Into the Woods and Sweeney have more similarities than Company did, but I like change, I like difference. And I feel like with Sweeney Todd you kind of know what you're getting into before you go, even if, like me, you don't know what's going on. Before going into the theatre I had no idea what I was getting myself into for. I had never seen an iteration of the show previously. I had never seen the film version that had Johnny Depp in a few years ago. Might actually go back and watch that, although I know that's an 18 and I don't do well with a lot of blood and guts, so maybe not. I think I do have it though on DVD of all places, but I feel like everyone knows this show, unsurprisingly, is all about Sweeney Todd, who is infamous for slashing a lot of necks and killing a lot of people. So I kind of had an inkling on where this whole show was going to go, and I was kind of correct. I did go on Wikipedia prior to going in, just so I kind of had an idea of what was going to happen. I read the synopsis on Wikipedia because that's the kind of gal I am. But this production by the Rep has been directed by the Rep's artist artistic director Joe Murphy, and it is dark and breathtaking, but also at some points hilarious, and I didn't know if it meant to be, but I enjoyed the mix of the two, and I was very much on the edge of my seat for a few times, especially Act 2. It was suspenseful quite a lot of the time. Speaking of the creative side, the design for this show was done by Ellen Steele. It was so clever. As I kind of said in the Nervous Guide, the set for this show is mostly stationary in that it has 2 sets of stairs either side of the stage. In the middle there is a collection of arches that the cast walk through at certain times, and then in the middle there is a bit of stage that can raise and can lower to create the 2 levels of the house in Fleet Street, with the pie shop being down below and then Sweeney's shop being above. It's very cleverly done. And the thing that I really enjoyed was the humongous statue at the back at all times. I believe it is the Statue of Justice. I will put in a little video from the bows so you can hopefully see her in the background. But it was so impressive and massive for the entirety of the show, like literally looking down on everything, and it was just so amazing. And I just wanted to kind of go on the stage and look up and see what it actually looked like from down below, because from where we were sat it was just so impressive and so just like awe-inspiring. What worked well with the set and with the design by Ellen is the lighting design by Rory Beaton. It just hit where it needed to hit, when it needed to hit. It was so cleverly put together. I did put my glasses on for the second half because the lighting at certain times for me, because of like where the light and the dark was, it was making my tired eyes even tighter. So I did put my glasses on, but they weren't flashing lights at all. But it just, like I said, it where you needed the light to be for the action at that time was where it was. And the whole feeling of the stage felt dark, as it should for the show it is, but I don't know how to describe it. It was just very cleverly put together, and I'm in awe of the creative team. Sticking with the creative team for a few more minutes, we have The Movement by Tino Sabanda. I've seen her work previously on other shows, and obviously this show is not a massive dancey show, because why would it be? But just the way that everything has been put together, it's very cleverly worked out, and another 10 out of 10 tick on the creative side. And the last thing creatively to talk about is the music coming from the pit. Now, I've been to many shows at the Rep, and the pit is frequently not used, whether it be because the show is actor musician, or because they put them at the back of the stage, or just because sometimes you don't need a band or an orchestra. I mean, the last thing I saw at the Rep prior to Sweeney Todd was Shakespeare. You don't really need a band for Shakespeare. But for this show, the orchestra is in the pit making the most insane music. The orchestra itself is led by the musical director, which is Leo Munby, but alongside him you have the musical supervisor and orchestra reduction man by the name of John Rigby. There is 7 people in the pit for this show, and the fact that there is only 7 down there, but the sound level and the music still sounds 10/10 is just a pivotal and amazing portion of this show. It's just stunning. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew I would enjoy listening to it so much? So much so that I have been rinsing the Broadway cast recording this week quite a lot. Driving through the villages that I need to drive through to get home with someone going, "Swing your face so fine." I was like, yeah. And the windows have been open because it has been hot. You are welcome, people that I have to drive past. Moving on to the cast, we have an 11 strong cast for this show. The reason I say this will come evident in a minute. The show itself is led by Ramin Karimali, who plays the pivotal and titular character of Sweeney. His vocals, as always, were amazing. I have often seen Ramin in the more happy, like joyful, silly some characters. So to see him as Sweeney was something special. He was almost a little bit scary, like that gaze. Oh, I was petrified. That came off. Not scared at all, but it was a little bit scary. But at the end of the day, I was like, it's just Ramin, he's fine. I can trust him. But yeah, as always, vocals 10/10, and his chemistry alongside the next person I'm going to talk about, who played Mrs. Lovett, which is the person of Meow Meow. The chemistry between the two of them was brilliant. They go on quite the little journey throughout the show, and Meow Meow herself was so cleverly cast for this show. Her vocals were really simple, and simple's not even the right word, so like flowing. In fact, I did say to my friends as we walked back to the train station after the show, I was like, for the first half I was like, what does her voice sound like to me? And then the second half it clicked. To me, she sounded vocally quite a lot like Angela Lansbury, which upon looking on Wikipedia afterwards is quite cool, because Angela Lansbury was one of the first people to be Mrs. Lovett on stage. But it wasn't like she was doing an impression. I feel like, because I don't know much of the person of Meow Meow, I feel like that is just her as a actress and as a singer. The way that she brought out the comedy without taking the darkness away was very, very clever, and like I said, a perfect choice for this role and this show by the rep. Claps for everybody. Claps, claps. Moving on, we have playing the role of Judge Turpin, the wonderful and again perfectly cast person of David Bedella. I've seen David in a couple of things before, again usually as either quite nice person or the slightly pantomime-y villain, and although my audience decided to boo him a little bit in the bows because he is the bad guy of the piece, again excellently cast. You kind of want to hate him and do hate him as a character for good reasons. And David can, in my eyes, play absolutely everything and anything, should I say. Playing the role of Anthony, we have Shem Amari James, who I haven't seen in anything since COVID times, when he was part of the streamed version of Songs for a New World, where he played the Steve Train, and I was aware of his amazing vocals just from listening to that one song. However, him in this show is again 10/10 on the vocals. Everyone is vocally very talented in this show. To the one point, there is one song, I can't pick it in my brain of which one it is, but there is, I think, 4 members of the cast on the stage at the time in different places. They all hold this note towards the end of the song, and Shem just kept going and going and going and going, and I looked, side-eyed my friend, and we both were just like, it was amazing. Vocals for days, loved it. And I also really enjoyed his work alongside the character of Joanna, who was played by Joe Stevenson, who has, again, a fantastic voice. And yeah, again, I could just say everyone is vocally very talented, because it would be true. And I enjoyed every single person in this cast. So moving on, we have The Beadle, which is by Julius De Silva. My brain found it really amusing that Julius was playing alongside and with David as the judge and the Beadle, because my brain was like, ha, they've both played the same person in the same show, just at different times, which is true. They were both in And Juliet. And my brain was like, haha, now they're together. That's amusing. I don't know why that has anything to do with this review, but I put it in as a side. Playing the beggar woman, we have Florence Andrews. Again, 10, amazing. And once you get to the end, you can see so much of what she was doing throughout the show as the beggar woman. Makes so much sense if you don't really know what the show, what happened to the beggar woman, how she became the beggar woman, if that makes sense. It's kind of one of the bigger twists, so if you haven't seen the show before and you don't know what you're going into, and don't want to ruin everything, but I feel at the same time everyone knows, but going back through my brain, once you know what happens to the beggar woman when it is explained at the end, the way that Florence moved around the stage was just ingenious again. Playing Pirelli, we have Silas Wyatt Bark. I haven't seen Silas again on a stage for a bit. Last time I saw him on anything, or in anything should I say, was at the Prince of Egypt. So it was really nice to see Silas performing again on stage, and I'm very impressed by both accents that he had to put on in a quick succession, because they are 2 accents that don't really pair with each other quite well. Yeah, I was very impressed on that note. Playing Tobias, we have Jack Gibson. Tobias and Jack as Tobias had one of my favourite performances of the entire show. Tobias has quite the story throughout the show, like most of the cast, but the way that the way that Tobias's character goes through the show and how Jack played it was just amazing, and like I said, one of my favourite performances of the evening. And then finally you have the 2 ensemble members that don't have named characters in the programme, which are Emily Ivana Hawkins and Hadrian DeLacy. However, the reason I say that is because upon the show beginning, apart from the characters and the actors behind Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett, every other person in that 11-strong cast are at some point ensemble, which sounds like it shouldn't work, because at the end of the day, one minute someone could be, for example, David Badella could be the judge in 1 minute, and then the next minute he changes into his ensemble clothes and he's just part of the chorus that comes to tell the tale of Sweeney Todd. But you don't, it's not like, oh, he's now not the judge, he's not that. It just becomes what it is. and it works really well. And I was just very impressed. Let's just put it that way. To the end. I am very shocked to say that I absolutely loved seeing this show. Not because of I thought it was going to be bad. No, because if you don't know, I love the Rep and everything they do, and there's so many times the Rep have made a show, including this one, and I have loved it to pieces and wished for a further life for it, which again I feel like this should have a future life after being in Birmingham. I feel like with the cast behind it, surely it has a chance, but it is at the Rep until the 15th of August. I am aware that there is tickets available. I don't think there's many tickets available for most shows. I would like to go back, but I don't know if I have it in my schedule to do so because I'm a busy girl. I am now on my 6-week break, and a lot of it is being taken up with travel, because your girl likes to travel as much as she likes the theatre. But yeah, I would 100% recommend getting a ticket to this show if you are anxious to see it like I was. Firstly, check out the Birmingham Rep's content advice, but also, pardon me, check out my last video, which was the Nervous Guide. Hopefully that will help too. But yeah, that is all I need to say on Sweeney Todd for the day. If I have missed anything, feel free to ask or leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I am now going to 100% check that I have just recorded these 2 videos, because I'm like 99% sure that I did that last week and the memory card just didn't keep them. I don't want to film them for a 3rd time, so hopefully everything's gone to plan. You've watched it when it has gone up, and yeah, go and see Sweeney Todd at the Rep. Support Birmingham Rep Theatre because they produce such amazing shows, and if they ever want to produce Becoming Nancy and What's New Pussycat again, I would be there in a heartbeat. But that is enough for me and my adoration for the Rep. The only things left to say is the last things I say in every video, and that is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back for next time's theatre based fun. And finally, we have so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye. Bye everyone.